Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good, Norma. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Let's talk about this. A new season of Killer Instinct with Chris Hansen, and I think a lot of people. What is it about our fascination with crime stories? What is it?
Well, I think on Killer Instinct, people are fascinated by the narratives we show them. It's partly because we choose stories that sometimes were not widely reported on when they occurred. Some of these cases took 10, 12 years to solve, or we pick widely known cases where people are speaking out for the first time. And we go out in the field and we conduct these interviews in our own special way, and we don't have a studio. We go out in the field. So we take people on this journey of discovery, and they see things they wouldn't normally see, and they hear things they wouldn't normally hear, and we take them inside the cases, and I think that's fascinating to people.
Chris, are some of these cases cold cases, cases that even police have said we've just come up dry with leads and we don't have any new information?
Some are cases that went cold for a long period of time, and what's fascinating to me is that how in so many of these investigations the detectives have stayed with it for so long, and they'll continue to retest the DNA and see if somebody has shown up in the database, or technology every year advances in the DNA world. So we always look at cases that ultimately get resolved within the span of our program.
Right.
But I'll tell you, a lot of these cases, they get in the middle of them and it looks like they may never be solved, if not for that one critical witness who comes forward, that one break in the case, and certainly not without these detectives staying on these cases for so long. And the relationship between the detectives and the victims' families always fascinates me. And it's incredible how many times these people actually become friends.
Right.
And we often bring them together. The detectives might be interviewed on a Friday and the family maybe on a Saturday, but the detectives always come to that interview because they want to see the family. They want to make sure everybody's okay. And the victim's family wants to see them.
Yeah.
Too.
That is remarkable. I've seen cases like that in our own community where police have developed a friendly relationship with the victims' families. Equally as impressive, though, and you touched on this, is that police officer, is that detective or that police chief that just won't let this story die, right? I mean, are you ever? Does it ever just make you just your mind just kind of go, wow, they won't quit?
We've talked to men and women on the job who literally have postponed their retirement to solve a case. And you're talking about a field where you get to a certain point with so many years on, you're essentially working for free because you cannot work and make the same amount of money in retirement with benefits. So they are working for free in a sense, but they do not want to retire until these cases are solved. We also have characters we've interviewed who have come back from retirement when there's been a hot lead in the case. We interviewed a 70-something-year-old man, a former detective in Richmond, Virginia, who came out of retirement to actually work on this case that was ultimately solved, but not without a lot of dead ends, twists and turns, and people lying to him along the way.
Chris, you, of course, we know you so well from the sexual predator reports that you've done over the years. And, there's a sense of satisfaction on the part of the public when these cases are solved and when those who do wrong are caught and are dealt with and apprehended. That same appetite, is satiated with this series, isn't it?
Well, I think it is. I think people want resolution at the end of an hour-long program. And what we do in Killer Instinct is, conduct these very compelling interviews, and we combine that with my team's ability to shoot these almost cinematic recreations of the crimes and the events leading up to the crimes. And when you put that together, these things are really mini motion pictures, and you're not going to find anything like this outside of a theater.
That's incredible. I think a lot of people are going to relate. Again, in our own community. I mean, I think every community in America has a story that, would be worthy of the Killer Instinct treatment. But, we all know of cases where, the case has gone dry, and then there's that one break, that one bit of information that sends police rushing back into the case, and then, of course, a killer is caught. So I know that this will touch so many people's lives, and people will relate to it. And that's the thing. These are relatable instances. These are everyday people to whom awful things have happened.
Well, that's part of the fascinating part. This is, Norma, and you know this from covering crime in Rochester, is that sometimes these people are targeted for a reason, and sometimes it's just a random act, and it's a matter of going left or right or east or west, and you're the victim or you're not the victim. In our next case, on next Tuesday, the case of Susannah Chase, who was a co-ed at the University of Colorado Boulder, murdered 50 feet from her house. I don't think she was being stalked or targeted. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But what it took to solve this case is absolutely astounding, and we live in it, you know, in our next episode.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Chris, thank you so much for your time and your obvious dedication to what you do. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy what they see, and in the best way possible, to see these crimes solved. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Norma.